Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again for another live Q&A session here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel here on YouTube is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. If you're not new here, then you know that every week we have a new poll. And today, the poll is, if I can find the right button, who's got the button? Are you experiencing a slump in voiceover business, audiobook business right now? It's been kind of weird, different for me, but I'm staying busy, thankfully. But I wanted to see what you guys thought. So if you haven't submitted your vote yet, go ahead and do that. I'd like to see where you guys are at, what you're thinking. And if you have something further to add, then please add it in the chat and share it with the group. So right now, it looks like we have about 23 votes. Looks like the majority of you, 43% of you said I've yet to begin. 22% of you said, yeah, a little. 13 said yes, a lot. And 21% of you said not really, pretty much the same. So a lot of variations there. There's you guys are all in kind of different spots. I think I would put myself in yes, a little, but some are sort of weird anyway, I think, because it also depends on what sort of focus you have in this business, I suppose. For me, I do mostly long form audiobooks and e-learning course content. I would imagine that things would start picking up for me in the next month or two before school's back in session, sort of in summer break at the moment. So knock on wood there. But I do, as I mentioned before many times, I do lots of different things, right? I have a lot of different streams of income, which I highly recommend that you do. So I don't have to solely rely on my voiceover business because I want to stay at home, right? I want to stay in business. I want to stay here and not go back to the corporate world. So I have my fingers in a lot of different things. But looks like we got a few more votes, but still, I'd say the majority of you said you have yet to begin. So that's good. So what I'm going to offer you today are maybe some tips and some things that I have learned in my own experience of what to do when you are experiencing a slump. So those of you that haven't gotten started yet, at least you'll have maybe some ideas of things to do before you even get started, right? So you can maybe put some of these things into place before you experience a slump, and hopefully you won't experience one. Although, now that I say that, there is sort of, anytime you're self-employed, you're going to find that money sort of comes and goes, right? It sort of ebbs and flows. It's never consistent. That's the one thing about being a business owner as opposed to working for someone else, that you can't really rely on a consistent income. It's going to be different. It's going to vary from month to month, quarter to quarter, year to year. It just is. So hopefully some of these things that I mentioned today will help keep you from freaking out, I suppose, getting really frustrated with being a business owner. Is that tangent number one? I guess it could be. Let's hop on over to the comments really quick and see who's here. First in is Joya. Hey, Joya. Good day. I put not really, only because my work is different than most VOs. If anything, I'm pushing to keep up with all the new projects. For those of you that don't know, Joya writes her own books and then she narrates her own books. So her VO work is sort of reliant on her producing written content, right? Yes, you're a little different than the rest of us. Oh my goodness, Wendy, Discordia. You made it. Look, I'm here. Wonder of wonders. Yes. Glad to see you here, Wendy. Joya, says the same. I'm pretty much yeah, Wendy, did you sort out those tech issues? So we have some more tech issues to probably hammer out this Thursday in group, huh? Dylan Holt says, "Good afternoon, all. I have had a drop in work and have noticed a significant drop in profitable books on ACX. Nothing that I want to even audition for. And keep in mind, Dylan, that ACX is only one platform. There are other ways of finding audiobook work, so don't put all of your eggs in the ACX basket. And that same goes with any platform you're working with, right? Don't rely or depend on one platform or even all of them. Don't rely on them to bring you work, right? Those platforms are just a tool for helping you to find work. As a business owner, you need to step outside of that box and be proactive and go find work yourself, right? And that is also going to be tied into some of the things I'm going to talk about today, right? Be proactive, go and make some connections yourself. Let's do a couple more comments and then we'll talk about what I'm talking about. So you guys are start throwing tomatoes at the screen because I'm not telling you anything yet. Chrissy Salz says, "Good day. I'm just getting started with audiobooks. Got 3 offers last week. Congratulations. Completed those projects and now I've just been getting rejections. I have 12 auditions pending though." Well, that's good. And don't let the rejections weigh too much on your soul either, because we don't really know, even if the author gives us an idea of what kind of tone or what kind of a narrator they're looking for, we can't really know what's in their head. They have a specific voice in mind for their audition, and we don't really know what that is unless we try. So if you're rejected, it doesn't mean necessarily that you did something wrong, that your audio quality was bad, anything of that nature. You just weren't the voice that they had in their head. So that just means keep auditioning, right? Because you will cross paths eventually with someone who is looking for your voice, right? But the fact that you've already gotten 3 offers and completed those projects already, so that leads me to think that you sound and perform just fine. So for you, it's just a matter of finding someone who is looking for you, which means more auditions, right? It's a numbers game. So that's awesome. All right, Pamela McDonald. Good morning, Pam. Good morning, PM. Laura Lee Jingo. I've only done auditions so far. Only nibble was someone who wanted to communicate off ACX, offered to allow me audition for another book, but once sent, I didn't feel comfortable with the content. I have to wonder why they wanted to communicate off of ACX. As someone else had this question yesterday, I believe, where someone found them on ACX and wanted to communicate or work off the platform, which I don't, at first blush, don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Maybe they are looking for a narrator and knew that that was the place to go to find one, but didn't necessarily want to work with ACX or have their book on Audible, because there are other platforms and other ways of delivering audiobook content. So I wouldn't necessarily say that in itself is a red flag or anything of that nature. Although if you do work with someone on ACX, keep your messages with them on ACX. So ACX can get involved if necessary. Because if you're communicating via email only, then ACX doesn't have any record of any of the communications, right? So those are 2 things I definitely wanted to mention. Tess and Dracula. Good afternoon, y'all. Not busy enough. Okay, so I wonder if I was working on a little, presentations. I like my little presentations. I was working on one before we got started. Let's just see if I can get this working. Bear with me, guys. Okay, so if I do present, I'm going to share screen. Let's do this one. Let's share it. And then, hey, look at that. That is pretty cool. Okay, so the first thing that I want to share with you, of course, is to save money, right? So when you are actually making some money, make sure that you save it. And I think the best way here, I'm actually going to change the layout here. Is this better? That's not better. Let's just keep that. That's fine. So I think once you start to make money, then let me just back up again. What I did in the beginning was I set up a PayPal business account, right? Because PayPal has a business variant of their platform, right? Where you have access to create custom templates and all of those things for invoices. And I wanted it to be before I became an LLC. Let me just say, before I was just a freelancer. I had no business. I was just a freelancer getting started. I created a PayPal business account. That way I could keep everything separate. So when I did decide to become an LLC, then I could take that money and move it into my business checking account. But I wanted to keep everything separate. Business money, personal money, separate. And then that became sort of like where everything came in and where everything went out for the business, right? And then that could also serve as sort of a savings account, right? And then once you become an LLC, move that money or most of that money, whatever chunk of it you choose, to your business checking account. But you could still keep that PayPal account as sort of like a on the side savings account, right? But I now always keep money in there just in case, because sometimes you'll have um like membership dues and that sort of thing come out through PayPal. So I always leave money in there anyway for those purposes. But anyway, save money, create a buffer for when you are in the ebb, right? Because as I mentioned before, in a business, you're going to have an ebb and flow, right? Some months are going to be good, some months are not going to be that great. So you're going to have some kind of a buffer to keep you going in the months that it's not that great, right? So let's see if I can I move this? Oh, yes, I can. Okay. So then the next thing I would say is to stay busy, right? When you're not actively doing VO or getting projects or working on jobs, when you're don't really have anything to do, don't just sit there idle. Keep busy, because there's always, always, always something to do for your business. Always. You could build or refresh your website, right? Add some pages, refresh the look of it, right? Maybe think about your business palette. What are your colors going to be? I'm going to change my website to my palette colors. Add new demos to your website. Add new content to it. Start blogging. Whatever you're going to do with your website, do it at that time, because there's nothing wrong with having a stellar looking website. So when clients do see you, they see your website looks professional. It looks well thought out. It looks well designed, right? Everything is on there that they need. They can contact you. They can hear you. They can see you. They can read a little bit about you if they want to. They can see your rate card if you choose to put your rate card on there. Always work on your website. Always keep refreshing and adding to it. Another thing you could do is refresh your demos at the same time you're refreshing your website. Or if you don't have a website, or your website, you're perfectly happy with your website, refresh your demos. Make some new demos and then refresh all of those on those platforms that you're on. So that would be ACX, add more samples, refresh them on Fiverr, refresh them on Upwork, refresh them on voice.com, refresh them everywhere that you are. Take courses or join workshops. And I know this one takes money, takes capital to invest. But that's what it is. It's an investment. It's an investment in furthering your ability and your know-how, refreshing, or you're investing in maybe even a community where you could learn from everyone else by just, you could even just be like a fly on the wall, right? And just hear all of these nuggets being thrown around, or take courses. There's a lot of courses out there. There's a lot of voice actors that are also coaches that will offer courses on various different topics, or academies. There's a couple of academies out there that offer lots of different courses on things. Take courses. Always keep learning, right? And growing and practicing. And then, of course, audition. Audition. In slumps, audition. Again, it's a numbers game. right? You could audition for 50 things and get maybe a job, or maybe you could get 10 jobs. It all depends on if you are auditioning for something where the client is looking for a voice like yours, right? And then the next one is to get social. Get active on social media. You know, there's how many different platforms out there? Five different big social media platforms. Get active on them. Start making some content and then also repurpose that content. I heard I was editing a podcast yesterday and someone had mentioned repurpose IO. I haven't checked it out yet, but from what I understand, you could create a video for, let's just say, YouTube maybe, and then you could repurpose it for TikTok, repurpose it for Instagram stories. You could repurpose that video. I'm not sure if that has something to do with if any of you guys know, please put it in the comments so all of us know. But I'm assuming it sort of reformats the video for whatever platform you're putting it on, which would be cool if that were the case, because that would save us a whole lot of time, right? Also making connections with other people on social media, right? Reaching out to an author, reaching out to companies, making content that is specific to a specific kind of company so they can maybe find you, right? By using hashtags and the right keywords to make connections with the people that you want to reach. Also making connections with other voice actors and other audiobook narrators, because there have been times when I wasn't the right person for the client and they asked me for a referral. Well, do you know anybody that could fit this bill? And I have passed it off to someone who I thought would be appropriate. So make connections, make friends with other people in your community, other colleagues, because they might just do the same for you, right? Email marketing. Spend your time looking at who do I need to contact? Go to LinkedIn and find different casting directors or managers of whatever it is that you're looking for to get into, right? Make connections with those people. And then at some point, or at least try to find their email addresses, right? Google is a great way to find companies or people that you need to connect with and then email them, reach out to them. And at some point, maybe they may have a job for you down the road, right? But all of these things, I sort of have to do a little bit of every day on top of the work that I need to do, on top of being, wearing the mom hat, on top of managing the housework and stuff. So if you can put something in place or at least have a game plan for all of these things before you get super busy, right? For those of you that said I've yet to get started, have an idea for a lot of these things and then start to put those processes and plans in place. So when you do start to see some work, some fruit of your labor, then you already have an idea of what to keep doing, right? Or what to do more of, what works and what doesn't. So those are just some of the things that I say, spend your time doing. If you're not seeing any work, if you're in a little bit of a slump, then definitely take advantage of the other things that you could or should be doing, probably should be doing anyway, right? Because there's always, always, always something to do, something to explore, something to add to, something to refresh, a new connection to be made. So don't ever sit idle, because there's always something to do. And I feel like I'm just allowing myself to go on yet another tangent. All right, somebody stop me. Okay, let's go back to the comments here. All right, I think this is where I left off. Stephen, listen. Hey, I'm learning to be a voice artist. Well, congratulations and welcome to the family. I'm glad you decided to make that step or to take that step. So welcome to the community. I hope our little conversation here will help you further or grow. Caesar's here. Hey, Caesar. Funny thing, joining your platinum group has presented me with excellent opportunities I didn't expect to receive at this point. Well, that's awesome. All I had to do was speak. Exactly. Very interesting and unique voice Caesar has, for sure. Sunny is here also. Hey, Sunny. Hello. Hard to say as I don't feel like I have a baseline yet. And you probably won't until you've gone through your first year, I think. Because my first year was very different from my second year, and then my second year was very different from my third year. But then I've sort of leveled out a little bit over the past couple of years. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty normal. Caesar says, now I'm fast tracking everything because one, apparently my voice has a market. Yes. Two, I've discovered my niche. Yes. Three, I'm embracing my niche. Good. And four, I'm healing from years of being told I should be different. Well, I would say that you are naturally different. And I forgot to open up my Facebook Live again, although I couldn't get it to open. So I'm not sure. Let me see if we can. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, hang on. Yes. Listening to myself talk. Okay, hold on. Okay. Who is this? This is Allie Miller. Allie Miller says, hello. Good to see you, Allie. I hope everything is still healing okay. I hope you're doing well. We miss you. Writer Dude says, good morning. Good morning, Writer Dude. I love that handle. Casey, or is it Cassie or Casey? I don't want to say it wrong. I'm going to go with Casey F. A client said they ran my file through an AI detector and it came back as 80% likely to be AI. I wonder how mastering a file may have impacted that. That is very interesting. I think if your files are too clean, meaning there's no mouth noise, there's no breaths, maybe if a noise gate is used, because the noise gate will, cut off some end points of consonants and things and make it sound sort of artificial. I think if you're over processing your files, maybe taking out too much of the low end because you're trying to control your noise floor, so that takes out at the same time a little bit of warmth from your voice. I think if we're over processing, it's another reason to not get too heavy into editing your files. Because if this were the case, if clients are starting to do that now and call us AI when we're not, then maybe we're doing a little bit too much of processing. It's kind of unsettling, isn't it? Deanna Forsyth says, hello. Hello, Deanna. Caesar then says, for a long time, I've been told I have a pleasant, sweet, attractive voice from friends, family. Once I entered a professional environment, I was told my voice was wrong, inappropriate, or fake. Well, I say don't listen to those naysayers because they are saying nay. Don't listen to them. Nope. Tom Archibald says, first time here, loving it. That's great. Good to have you here, Tom. Jessa Kent says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Jessa. Glad you're here. Uzma Axis. Hi, I am from Pakistan. I love your voiceover, but I don't know from where to start. I always admire your advice. I have got a lot of videos here on my channel, Uzma, depending on which way you are going. If you're going to voiceover or audiobook or a little bit of everything, I've got quite a few videos here on my channel where I walk you through just about everything that you can think of. I'm probably missing a few things because there's a lot of things to think of when doing this, but my channel could at least get you started. Plus, there are quite a few others out there that definitely helped me. Booth Junkie is a great channel to watch. Oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart. Is it Mike Russell? Mike Russell on YouTube. He's the technical side, right? He goes through a lot of settings on Audition, a lot of Audition, Audacity, and I think even Reaper. He goes through a lot of like the technical little features and functions of those DAWs. My friend, of course, Anthony Pica of VO's Journey. That's a great channel to look at. Also, we've got The Gift of Gab, which is Gabrielle Nistico. Crownstag voiceover. There's a handful here on YouTube, plus also TikTok. There's a ton of voice actors on TikTok, and some of them will actually go through live reads, so you can watch them narrate an audiobook live, which is interesting, and ask questions if you want to. But there's a lot of people out there in this industry that are extending a warm, welcoming hand. So just grab onto it and take what they're offering to give, because everybody here is very helpful for the most part. Chrissy Sal says, I own a pressure washing business and owned a gym before that. And summer is always slow for business. Maybe VO is the same. It could be. It could be because there's a lot of people off on, enjoying the holiday. They're enjoying the time with their family. They're enjoying not working, right, during the summer months. So that's understandable. But um, there's if you could get enough repeat clients or another skill that you can offer available online as well to keep you busy during the summer months, then that would be something I would definitely look into. For example, if you have the ability to build a website, if you are a copywriter, if you can, there's any other skill that you have that can be offered on a digital platform, then offer it because that may just keep you busy through the summer months, right? Or any time where there's an ebb in business, for sure. Facebook user, this is Allie. Allie says, love Wendy. Yes, we love Wendy. Yay. MG Steven says, good morning, Angela and everyone. I am finishing up 2 audiobooks this week and have been in conversation with 2 other authors who heard me and contacted me, which I'm thankful for. That's awesome. And I find that a lot of authors, if they're happy with you and if you take the time to communicate with them and not, treat them just as a job, right? Because it's a partnership creating an audiobook. Talk with them, become friends with them. They will refer you to their author friends, hopefully, right? Or see you communicating with them on social media platforms. Making connections. Caesar says, so I had a hard time believing anyone who told me that I had the kind of voice people wanted to hear. I had imposter syndrome so bad, I felt I needed to be someone else. Now I know I don't have to. That in and of itself, in and of itself is huge because you don't have to be anyone but yourself unless you're becoming a character for something, right? Obviously, but be yourself. Especially when narrating audiobooks, right? You're just be yourself. You don't have to pretend to be Morgan Freeman. You don't have to pretend to be, because everybody's got their own way of doing things. You just do it the way that you want to do it, the way that you sound, and you'll be just fine. Annie Waybright says, just sat down after spending the morning taking care of my kids and chickens. Now it's bagel, tea, and Angela time for me. That sounds amazing. Maybe not the me part, but the bagel and tea, might have to go and have a bagel after this is done. Thank you, Annie. I'm glad you're here. Writer dude, I'm a bit slow getting started. I am in the middle of a lot of dental work. Oh, yeah. Well, life happens also. And if life is telling you to take a pause and you have to focus on other things, then you have to focus on other things, right? Take care of yourself first. Jim Cecil says, hello and good morning, all. Good morning, Jim. What I have noticed a spike in is scam offers. I've had a few trying to monopolize my time asking question after question, never really fleshing out any offer. Odd. Yeah, they might just be testing you. Might just be testing the waters to see if how interested you are and maybe how well their script is working, right? To hopefully take advantage of whatever it is they're trying to take advantage of. But for anybody watching, anytime that you're available online, anyone gets a hold of your phone number, anytime anyone gets a hold of your email address, people are going to try you on for a scam. It's not just voiceover business. I mean, you have to mind your P's and Q's just about everywhere, right? Everybody's trying to make a quick buck. So just be smart about it. Ask questions. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's probably a duck, right? So sorry about that, Jim, but BGL says, good morning, everyone. I didn't get a notification. Oh, no. Well, we're going to have some words, YouTube. Make sure that your bell is clicked. Don't you have to click the bell to get notifications? Or if you're a subscriber, you should get a notification, right? I think so. Caesar says, I wouldn't have been able to be myself had I not joined the Platinum group. I have you and everyone in the community for embracing my niche and making it work without feeling bad about how I sound. I'm glad to hear that, Caesar, but I think eventually you would have discovered that you could be yourself and that you're encouraged to be yourself. But I think it might have taken a little bit longer. And I only say that because I experienced the same. In the beginning, I thought that I was going to be, or I needed to be something that I was not to make it in this business. But after about a year or so, I discovered it's okay to just be me. All of my little quirks and nuances in the way that I speak makes me unique. And that makes me undeniably me. So I had to embrace it and just let all of that other baloney in my head, just let it go, right? And just be myself and embrace being myself. But I'm glad that we were able to help you see that sooner. So hopefully you'll make more progress sooner than I did. So that's fabulous, Caesar. I'm glad to hear that. Kelsey V, the little kitty face. Hey, Angela, I hope your Tuesday is going well. Having a bit of a rough one, but things will get better. Yes, they will. And I love that mindset because things have to get better, right? Obstacles in life are meant to teach us a lesson, right? Once we learn the lesson, then we know how to, hopefully, how to avoid it again in the future or how to deal with it better in the future. But most of these speed bumps are temporary, right? We learn the lesson we're meant to learn and we move past it and we become stronger for it and we keep moving forward. So I love that mindset. Things will get better. Absolutely. I am Paximus. Hey, Angela, I'm in a meeting today. You have a lot of meetings, but wanted to stop by and say hello and stuff. Talk soon. Team replay. Embrace the tangent. Oh, my goodness. Yes, we should make that a hashtag. Embrace the tangent. Caesar says, apologies for the emotional outpouring. It has been a very strange week or two. It has been a very strange week or two, hasn't it? I think this summer, last few months have been very strange. But it's okay. We're here for you, Caesar. Pour out your emotions. Do it. Eric says, sorry I'm late. Power outage? That stinks. Not really in a slump at the moment, and thankful for that. Love it. Love it. Lori Lee Jingo says, couldn't find it on my own, only when he sent a link. Link did drop in ACX. Interesting. Dan Keeling says, as a brand newbie with only 2 months on the system, I've gotten 3 offers and completed 1 project. Newbie question, would this be considered a slow start, guys? My own experience in working with others, sometimes in the very beginning, you'll see like a little bit of a burst. Like you'll get a bunch of offers or even just 1 in the first couple of months and you're like, yes. And then it just kind of plateaus or drops off, right? Don't let that discourage you because, well, I have met people kind of all over the spectrum, right? I have met people that have just started just sprinting out of the gate where they got business right away and then continued to build and grow like nothing. And then I've also met people that have taken months to get their first order or their first project. And then slowly, like every couple of months, they'll get another one and then another one. And then other people have, gotten 1 or 2 projects right away. And then it just sort of crickets for a few months and then maybe 1 or 2 and then crickets. So everybody's path and journey is going to be a little bit different. So we can't really base our experiences on other people's experience because everybody's experience is going to be different, right? I would say, however your journey starts, just keep busy. Right? The things that we talked about earlier in this conversation about getting social, working on your website, getting connected with people on social media. Keep busy, always keep busy, and things will continue to progress. It's just a natural evolution of staying busy, right? The more you put out into the world to help clients and other people find you, then eventually they will start to, right? The more effort you put into this, the more you're going to get back out. It might not be tomorrow. It might not be in a month. It could be a year from now. But all of the seeds that you plant today will eventually grow and bear fruit. So just keep busy and keep at it, and you will see fruit of your labors. True that. Stephen, listen, that was perfect timing. True that. I love it. Laura Lee Jingo says, audition, one he sent, called for young male. I'm older female. Once reading the material, I see it was written in the first person perspective from a former slave. Honestly, I didn't feel I fit. I have had similar circumstances where the book was clearly written as a first person or the POV from a male, and they asked me to narrate it. So I did. It's not really up to me. If I think I fit the bill, the client knows I'm who I am. They sent me the offer. They sent me the order, whatever it is. And maybe I think most of those I even said, "Hey, I'm like a 40-something white female. Are you sure you want me to narrate this?" And then they come back and they say, "Yes, this is why I chose you." I don't know. Again, we never really can maybe fully understand or anticipate the voice that the client has in their head. So in your case, you could ask them and say, "Hey, are you sure you want me to do this?" And if they say yes, then do it. Right? Annie says, at Dan Keeling, sounds like an impressive start to me. It's not uncommon to audition 50 times before getting an offer. True that. Caesar says, I realized when I started getting into voiceovers, I wasn't really looking for work per se. Work is great, really. But what I really was looking for was affirmation. My studio is very expensive therapy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm glad that we could give that affirmation to you, Caesar. Leslie says, I am busy with my first set of books and really very grateful. I know if I didn't have the info and support of Angela and the Platinum Group, I would not have tried such a big first job. Thank you, Leslie. Well, you had it in you the whole time. We just pushed you. But thank you for that. Oh, hang on a second. Did I miss? Oh, Sean, I'm so sorry. I must have been presenting and I missed your super chat. Thank you so much for that. Sean says, how do you prepare clients for when you go on vacation? I let my regulars know, but they are asking if I have a minute to help them. Charge double. I let clients know I'm going on vacation. I guess it depends on what kind of vacation you're going on, right? If you're going on somewhere where you won't have internet access, then that's like a hard stop, right? There's just no way. I'm sorry, but you have to let your clients know that you're going on vacation early enough so they have anything down the pipeline, they have the opportunity to get it to you before you go, right? But if you're in a place where you don't have Wi-Fi, that's sorry, you're going to have to wait till I get back. But if you are in a place where if you have like a travel rig where you can take something to record voiceovers with you, like into a hotel or something, I don't know if I would charge double, but maybe I would prorate it to sort of, if you have an express fee, if you have your rates established and you have a decided express fee, I would definitely add that or even prorate it to 1.5 times or double. I guess it's really up to that's your prerogative, I suppose. But I think for me, it would depend on where I was and my ability to do the work, right? They would definitely be extra, though, if you had told them up front that you were not going to be available, but they needed you, and they know that you're not going to be readily available, then perhaps. That's a good question. I have to think about that for a second. Hang on a second. I skipped a few. Annie says, finished my second book a week ago and have no bite since. I've been refreshing my Fiverr page and dipping my toes into working on my neglected website. I think that's a good way to go. Refreshing your Fiverr page and your gigs. So when you're refreshing your demos, also refresh the ones that are on Fiverr. And then also maybe take a look at getting onto Upwork and maybe some other sites. Caesar says, now I'm looking forward to monetizing all this. I feel so much better about my ability, my skill, and how I sound. That is great. That's great. And a little bit of validation and affirmation, like you said, can go so far. And I think that comes from joining a community of are joining with a community of people who understand what you're talking about, what you're going through, and speak the same lingo, and then also have the ability to give you feedback on what you're doing. Because when you're starting out, again, you might be in the place where you're like, okay, well, I need to sound like Morgan Freeman in order to make this a viable, endeavor. But then when you're submitting your Morgan Freeman-esque demos to your group and they go, what are you doing? That's not what you sound like at all. It might be a little hard to swallow, but something that you need to hear so you can adjust and fix it going forward. And maybe at some point embrace the fact that you don't need to be anybody but yourself, right? So all of that, all of those epiphanies and those all come with joining with a group of people that understand and that are supportive and helping you understand that, right? That also ties in with the ready, fire, aim ideology, right? You're ready, fire, and then get the feedback to figure out where you need to aim, right? It's the same sort of thing. Facebook user, let's see who this is. This is Christopher Williams. Hey all, I'm locked out of my main Google account. Oh no. Thanks to everyone for all the help and feedback. You guys are awesome. Oh no. Well, I hope you get that sorted out. That stinks. Dan Keeling says, guys, would SoundCloud constitute a website? I would say no. I would say SoundCloud is a great way to put all your demos online, and then you can share the link to your playlists with clients if you don't have something else going. But you want a website that is going to be your digital home base for your business. So when you're getting active on social media, when you're emailing people, when you're email marketing and you have some place for the client to go to, or some place for your social media connections to go to find out more about you, to contact you. When you start getting onto these platforms, voices.com, Fiverr, Upwork, whichever one you decide to work with, clients do check on you to make sure that you're not a scammer. The same thing that we do to our clients, they do to us. They want to make sure that they're not going to be scammed. So if you have a website, that just further solidifies your place and your professional voice acting ability, right? Because you're established and professional. You have a website. And I know a lot of people have a lot of different feelings about websites, that they're outdated. It's like a business card. Who needs it? But I disagree. I think especially if we're going to be living online and creating a business online, we need an online, spot for people to come and check you out, right? A digital home base where they can hear your voice, they can contact you, read a little bit more about you, see pictures of you. You're a real person and not a scammer. Although, not to say that scammers don't do the same too, which is another reason why I think we may need a little bit more than just a singular page on our website now. Maybe a separate page for, portfolio or demos or something. Maybe maybe links to things that you've created before. Just something that makes us not look so much like a scammer, I suppose. But to answer your question, I would say SoundCloud is a good tool, but definitely have a website in addition to, for sure. Caesar says to Dan, I would believe so. Bottom line, it has your information and your portfolio, and I assume you can be contacted through the platform. I think you can on SoundCloud, but I would definitely have a website in addition to that. Dan says, Caesar, great point. I'm assuming here too. Had Linktree been mentioned here before? Linktree is a cool thing where it's another tool that you can use on your social media accounts, right? Where it's one link, but within that one link, you have the ability to put many different links in it, right? So like TikTok, for example, is a great example. You have the ability to put one link in there. So if they click that one link, then they have the ability to see all the other places to find you, right? Another tool, another great tool to know about and utilize if it applies. Chrissy Sal says, such helpful advice. Thank you so much. Well, you're welcome so much. I hope that was my advice, or maybe it was somebody else's. I don't know. I'm hoping it was mine. Caesar says to Dan, I don't recall if it was. I think of Linktree as more of a business card, like where you can be reached or where your stuff can be found. I think so too. Mary HPVO says, good morning, Angela. Hoping you and everyone is having a great morning. So far, so good, Mary. So far, so good. Janelle is also here. Hey, Janelle. Hey, Angela. Hey, everyone. It's been pretty steady, thanks to you and our fantastic group. Yeah, Janelle is in fuego at the moment. Good job, Janelle. Good job, Janelle. Kamikaze says, hi, Angela. Hope you're doing well today. Yes, I am. So far, so good. Glad you're here. Caesar says, hi, Janelle. I listened to your voice sample over at Discord. I really enjoyed it. You have a fun storytime voice that's quite pleasant and easy to listen to. I think Janelle is also one of those exceptional voices. She has a very natural storytelling ability, and her voice is like butter. It's very pleasant and easy to listen to. Rockin' Dave Byron says, hey, Angela and all. Greetings from Southwest Florida. Hope all is well. Question. If you leave some background noise in, will clients start to accept that? Because they'll know that it's not AI. I think it depends on the level or the loudness of the background noise. If it's somebody watching TV in the room above you, probably not. If we're talking like just noise floor, audiobooks obviously have to be below -60, right? For audiobook standards. But normal voiceovers, if it's up, like -55, -50, I think that's okay. Again, some of our clients will pass your voiceover file to their audio engineer to further do whatever it is that they need to do with it. And a lot of the other half of our clients will expect a finished, polished, upload ready or, user ready voiceover file. But I would say definitely leaving something in that is indicative of a human would be advantageous, whether that be maybe, and again, depending on the voiceover that you're doing, if you can leave in a breath or a mouth noise or maybe, like a hey or something in it, add something to it or just leave some of the background noise in. But I think you have a point there. If we can leave something in, so if they do run us through an AI detector, I'm not even sure what that is, but that sounds like something we're going to have to contend with if that's the case. To not over edit our audio files so we don't come back to the client as AI. I think that's something we're definitely going to have to really think about and implement in our own space and time, right? Because it's going to be a little bit different no matter what that is going to be a little bit different from person to person, from recording space to recording space. But that's a good point. Masonry Construction says, can't imagine being a freelance VO with only that one skill offered. I offer several services and on several platforms. Good. Perfect. And I recommend that for everybody. You're a freelancer, embrace it. Offer more services wherever you can. Rockin' Dave Byron says, I'm thinking about going directly to authors and offering them background music that I compose and play and narrating their books, kind of like old time radio. I think this like radio drama or theater is really starting to make a comeback, like fully produced audio stories, that it's sort of like those radio stories of old. And we've been talking about doing something similar in our Platinum group for a while now. And it looks like we're starting to make some progress on that. Baby steps, sure, but I think this is something that's going to take time. This is a big project that I think is going to take some time to make sure that everybody's on the same page so it turns out nice. But I think these audio drama type things are really starting to come back. So I think that is a great idea. And if you are an audiobook narrator that has a firm grasp on audiobook standards and have the ability to add sound effects and music, then I would definitely offer that on platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, where freelance platforms, right? Because you might find yourself getting more of these types of orders, because I'm starting to see more of these being offered. Fabulous. Great idea. Joya says, after a rough tech start to the week, this live is cheering me up and motivating me. Thank you, Miss Angela. You always cheer me up, Joya. I'm glad that we're able to help, though. Hopefully your week will get better. You'll have to let us know on Thursday how your week is going from today on. Rockin' Dave Byron says, in response to having slowdowns, it happens to us all. I'm a gigging guitarist down here in Southwest Florida, and we're having a very slow season now, especially after Hurricane Ian. So hang in there. Absolutely. Hang in there. Can only get better. And then he says, thank you for all you do, Angela. You inspire us all, and everyone here is a huge inspiration for me because I'm still very new to this industry. You all rock. God bless. And I think everybody here, I appreciate you saying that, for one, because I feel the same. I feel the same about this community. Again, we are all unique, and we all are very supportive of each other, and we're all in a different sort of place. And whether it's experience or, what equipment we have or how much training we've had, or we're all in different places in this journey. And when we all come together to support each other in all of our endeavors, right? Offering all of the different skills you have and being all the platforms that you are, whatever you're doing, if you're in this industry, we can support each other and help lift each other up and reach out to each other and say, hey, how you doing? What can I help you with? Or ask for help, right? If you need help, don't just sit there and, pull your hair out over something. Ask your community. It's another good reason for having this community. Ask. Someone may just have had the exact same thing happen to them and knew how to solve it. But I love the fact that we all come together every week here and talk about these things. Because it's not me just, throwing out my experiences. You guys contribute to that too. And I love that. Not just in advice and your experiences, but also in the support. So I love that. Thank you for that, Rockin' Dave. Wendy says, thanks for sharing, Caesar. You and I are on a similar journey. Good for you for talking about it. Absolutely. Brian Cross says, hello, Angela and chat. No slump here since I haven't really started. I posted a dry demo in some Facebook groups, and I'm receiving conflicting feedback, mainly that I need to add music and sound effects to my work. And you'll also hear conflicting feedback on just that point. Some voice artists say just have a dry demo with no music and sound effects, and some will say, yeah, fully produce it. Some will say, do it yourself. Some will say, go to someone who can produce it for you. You're going to get conflicting feedback pretty much on anywhere you go. But what I did and what I recommend that you do is take all of the feedback, use what fits, and discard the rest. Right? If you want, have two different demos. Have a demo that's dry with no music and sound effects, and have the exact same demo with music and sound effects, and have them both available for the client. Because you might have a client that reaches out to you that has a very specific sort of need, and you think a demo with music and sound effects is going to work for them. And you might have someone else with a very specific need that you think that music and sound effects would probably, take away from. So you want to give them the dry one. Have both, right? It's up to you. Brian Cross then says, I hope to get my demo up into standard ASAP so I can get my Fiverr going. Yes, you don't worry about having a standard. Just have a demo, because you can always replace it, refresh it, add to it later. Just get something up there, right? I know my first demos were not that great. They're not, but it gives the client the ability to hear you and then hire you. They can't hire you if they can't hear you. So don't worry about it being perfect or up to somebody else's standard. Just post it. You can always refresh it, replace it later. Right, guys? True that. Wendy says, thanks for sharing, Caesar. You and I are on a similar journey. Good for you for talking about it. Affirmation or validation is gold. You just have to believe it. Yes, ma'am. That's why you are the doyenne. Caesar says, thank you, Wendy. You're actually part of my affirmation. I still remember your first reaction to my voice. I remember my reaction to your voice, too. I cannot imagine anyone disliking your voice. However, and if anyone does, they should burn. Masonry Construction says, any third-party platform can go out of business at any time. Yes, always own your assets. Get your own website. Yes, another great point for having a website. Steve VoiceOverAngela. Hi. Chrissy Sal says, I was thanking you for your advice. Oh my God. It's getting so hot in here. I got to turn the air conditioner on. Barb Cam, hi Angela. So disappointed to miss Thursday. A hailstorm knocked out the power and I needed my phone for the flashlight. Oh God. Looking forward to tomorrow. Thursday. Oh, yeah, Thursday, right? What day is it? I don't know. Are we on Wednesday already? I don't know. Joya says the fully developed audiobook background music and sound effects is called immersion audio and was the original audio stories. Authors want this to come back as the standard. It was pre 1995. And I can totally see that. So I think we as audiobook narrators need to not only, like I said before, have a firm grasp on the standards, but also learn how to start putting in sound effects and music for this immersion audio. Great point, Joya. Sunny says, do you remember feeling a bit nervous or different about producing your first audiobook that you knew had a good chance to be listened to by at least dozens of hundreds of people? That thought crosses my mind with every single thing that I do. And I have to tell myself that is not what is happening right now live in front of me. All I need to focus on is that I am in my studio alone reading a script. You do have to consider the audience that you're speaking to, but you can picture them as just fictional people, right? That helps me anyway, because my inner introvert just screams sometimes. And I try not to think about all of the different people that are going to be hearing me. I'm really just thinking about, for audiobooks anyway, I'm thinking about the author listening to me, and that's it. Because if I start thinking about the hundreds or thousands of people that may listen to me, I might freak out a little bit. So yes, I think about that almost every single time. Joya says to Sunny, you're funny. Every author has the same fear of letting their work getting published. It's an industry-wide fear, not just a VO issue. You have to tell yourself, just do it. That's right. That's another thing to do. Just shut up all the voices in your head and just do it. Brian Cross says, great advice. Thank you. You are welcome, sir. Rockin' Dave Byron says, maybe I should offer anyone here music and sound effects if they would like. I would be very, very affordable. Just like to help if I can. And if there's an interest, I think what you could do, I don't think you can post links here, but if you have a website, I'm okay with you putting the website. So anyone here watching or watching the replay wants to go visit your website that they can. I'm cool with that. Do that. And if you've seen him here, if he does do that, if he does share a website for you to go to, then just say, make sure that you told him that you found him on VoiceOverAngela, I'm sure. That way he can keep track of who's who. MG Stevens says, no one can do you. We are all unique and special in different ways. Very well said, MG. I agree. Barb Cam would be Thursday. Yes. Thursday. It would be a Thursday. Caesar says, I'm looking forward to Thursday's Wheel of Emotion, actually. I missed the other one because a flu knocked me on my back. Yeah, this will be fun. I'll have to make sure the wheel is... because I had deleted some of the... you don't need to hear any of those, but yes, I'm excited about it too. The Wheel of Emotions on Thursday. Dipankar Chakravarti? So sorry if I butchered that. I hate butchering everybody's name. Dipankar. First time here and I'm loving it. Looking forward to further sessions. That's great. I'm glad you're here. Kami Kazi says, LOL, you missed my comment, but it's fine. Did I? Hold on. Hold the phone. The last one I saw was one that I showed. Hi, Angela. Hope you're doing well today. This is the last one I see from you. So if it had a link in it or words that maybe YouTube filtered, that could be the case. Wasn't intentional. I apologize. Facebook user, this is Brian Little. My first time here. Thank you for being here, Brian. Sharon says, hi, this is Sharon. I've enjoyed these discussions. Glad to finally catch it live. Well, we're glad that you did finally caught it live. Was that just horrible English that you did caught it live? I'm glad you're here, Sharon. Mary says, being myself has gotten me more work with repeat clients than when I freak out and give them what I think they want. Yes. Yes. Same. Same. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Don't try to mimic anybody else. Just be you. Because your experience and your interpretation are going to be different than most everybody else's, right? So use what you think is appropriate, not what you think somebody else would want or what somebody else would do. Sharon says, a technical question. What audio interface do you use and what gain level do you use? I seem to require a high gain level, which brings up the noise floor quite a bit. Thank you. Yes. And again, there are a lot of variables in this business. There's going to be all kinds of different mics, all kinds of different interfaces, all kinds of different room setups. There's going to be all kinds of different things. If you need a very high gain, consider getting a preamp or a cloud lifter, right? It's extra boost for your microphone. Also, take a look at what your microphone needs, because if it in the specs of your microphone, it'll tell you how much gain it needs or how much power it needs to power the microphone. That in and of itself might help you to lower the actual added gain, because you're right. The more gain that you add, the higher your noise floor comes, right? So it might just be that your microphone needs more power. So look into that and see what you need to do to add a little bit more oomph to your microphone. Depankar says, you got the name right. Don't worry. Oh, did I really? I don't know if I got it all the way right, but thank you for that anyway. Steve VoiceOver says, I can't read your name. Those nerves you speak of should not necessarily be bad. Translate it as a respect for what you do. It is nice to feel those nerves and excitement in front of a new project. I can't read your name. Rockin' Dave Byron says, thanks, Angela. I don't want to impose, really do appreciate it. I'm working on the website. Okay, well, when you have it ready, then share it. You're not imposing. I'm asking you for it. Like I said before, I want to help everybody, right? I want to support each other. We need to support each other. We must support each other. Janelle says, thanks, Caesar, Angela, and the group. You are all the best. No, you're the best, Janelle. Caesar says, I have an idea. Next time, we should have a wheel of tequila shots on emotions. 2 wheels, number of shots from 1 to 3, and another wheel for the emotion check. Well, we might not get anything done by the time we have like the second or third spin. I like the idea, but it might not be good for getting things done, Caesar. Sharon says, great tips on adding power. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Caesar says to Sharon, what sort of microphone have you got? I think it might help us identify what you need. Then Joya says, from Caesar, or to Caesar, fireball shots for me. Oh my gosh, we're in trouble if we're going to get fireball in here. Okay. Hang on. Okay, last comment, and then I've got to go. I've got a bajillion things to do today. Dan Keeling says, cheers, all getting late here in Thailand. I'll try to catch you again. Big thanks. Well, I'm glad that you made it regardless. I mean, hey, if you can't catch me live, then watch the replay. No big deal. Maybe next week, because I'm here. Same bat channel, same bat time, same bat day. Every Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST. And I'm going to go because I got lots to do. But I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you picked up a couple of nuggets. I tried not to tangent too much. But anywho, I'll see y'all next week. And until then, bye.